Second.
Get cummed on, Justin.
Get cummed on, dude. We're coming.
Oh yeah, so they come boys.
Is that the cold open?
I think so.
This movie's gonna flop. Our mind's about to pop. But enough of that noise. Time for the B-roll, boys.
Welcome to another eye-gouging episode of B-Roll Boys. This week we're going to roundhouse 1993's Undefeatable. And with me is my unvanquished host, Justin.
Hey, mommy.
And my unmatched host, Harlan.
What, is she a whore? Sorry, wrong movie. Justin stole mine, so I had to come up with something else on the spot.
Putting Harlan on the spot.
And I am Wes, and let's fucking get into it. So this movie fucking kicks so much ass.
This was
constantly.
fantastic.
And in an unquantifiable amount of asses were kicked.
Right?
And they're asses, so they come in pairs. You got to double that number, whatever it is.
Both cheeks. Each got a kicking.
All right, so I mean, I gotta say, I knew nothing about this movie.
Same.
Like you told us last week, like it's a karate movie, and I was like, okay, cool. And I knew nothing about it besides that, and like I was in almost from the minute this started. I was like, holy fuck, this is great.
This whole thing operates on like
love
Pokemon
this.
logic.
I loved this movie. I'm gonna watch this again soon with my wife.
I'm gonna get this on Laserdisc.
This movie has received the highest Harlan praise that I've
Yeah,
seen so far.
legitimately.
35 minutes in, he was like, I'm sad that this isn't longer, and I swear to God this is real.
Evil Harlan be like... Evil Harlan be like, I'm engaged within 3 minutes.
Yeah. No, yeah, I was having a great fucking time with it.
I first saw this, I was a teenager when I was seeking out just really shitty movies, and I found this one.
Wait
I
a
watched
minute.
it once, thought it was
You
hilarious.
sought out bad movies on purpose?
Wait a fucking second right there.
It's kind of my thing.
Oh, well.
I'm so quirky. Where do we even begin? This is a very complex tale of
Let's start with the
morals.
rape.
Pretty...
What?
We're jumping right in.
Okay.
Well, I mean,
I thought this dude was the protagonist until
I did
that
too.
scene.
Yeah, because he's pretty unassuming. But I mean, Wes, you take it. It's your episode.
Well, so at the beginning, you don't really know what's going on. There's just like people doing karate and shit.
There's
Yeah.
like a gang having like back alley fighting tournaments.
Yeah, and then it cuts to like this couple in a house, or this woman in a house, and her husband comes home, and he's like a world championship like karate champion.
You see a little before that he used to box, and he like kicked this guy's ass. But
Oh,
like,
yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
it seemed pretty, legit.
It's like to introduce him. He just showed him just a match of him kicking ass. Then he gets home and has a very uncomfortably long, let's say, scene with his wife.
Yeah, this is like a symphony of how long this fucking lasts.
Yeah.
Odyssey, not a symphony.
That makes more sense. Okay.
Yeah.
Symphony makes it seem like it was pleasurable to watch, and after like 5 minutes, we're like, okay, what the fuck?
Yeah, after laughing for like 5 minutes, that happens, and we're like, whoa. And
Well,
then-
that's the thing is like,
Tonal
okay,
shift.
so yeah, like he comes home and she's like cooking dinner, and he's like, let's hump, baby, and then she's like,
That's what he
no,
says.
I'm cooking, and then yeah, he starts like he forces her down and starts taking off her clothes.
Before that, he's like, please, mommy, I want to play.
Yeah, and like
And
well,
shit like that.
That
Yeah.
itself, like, I'm not wanting to kink shame. Like, if you call your SO mommy, like, whatever, that's cool. So that in and of itself wasn't too weird. But it's that, yeah, he starts raping her, and you keep expecting the scene to end, and it just keeps going with the rape, and I'm like, oh my
Yeah,
god,
this is like a girl with a dragon tattoo.
It just kept fucking going.
I mean, well, I guess the one bit of restraint that the director had is that he didn't elect to keep the like slap bass going through that, because through the entire rest of the movie, almost all of it's punctuated by this like Law and Order type music, and you see like ba-bam, ba-bam in the background.
Yeah, there's always like some piano that's like doing like some kind of like, something that's got like a mysterious vibe to it. It's like and the bass is like
There's never a dull scene because of it. Just every scene has the sassiest bass you've ever heard.
It
And
reminds
that's the
me of
thing is,
PlayStation
even-
1 games.
Yeah, it sounds. Like you said that, and I was like, yeah, it totally sounds like the menu screen music from Xenosaga or something like that, or like the HQ from fucking Astral Chain or something. Like, it's got that all over. And the rape scene, really, it has that same kind of music, just without the bass to punctuate it. It's still got the piano at one point.
They're trying to be dramatic.
They were like, this is
like,
too
we don't-
groovy. We gotta make it darker.
We can't have a fat beat on this.
And then they kicked Victor Wooten out, and then they were like, okay, now we're good. Now we're good.
Well, you get for a second.
Yo, you think they had Victor Wooten live on set?
Well, and then after that art house scene,
You know what? I'm sorry. Before we move off that, I also just want to say it also, like, to paint another picture of how it sounds, like, it explicitly reminded me of Rosanna by Toto. That's all I wanted to say.
Rosanna.
Sorry.
excuse me, that just happened.
I wonder if we'll get copyright flagged.
Oh, and also during the rape scene,
for that perfect rendition.
to like really to drive home, I don't know, because like it cuts back in the middle of it to the fight that we were shown earlier, the boxing match, and so that really implies that it's like a power thing for him, not necessarily like a heavy quotations romantic thing or like a sexual thing. It's more of a power thing for him.
Yeah.
But then later on it just because he's targeting a specific type of woman, it seems inconsistent. But
He got home from the boxing match and immediately just fantasized about it constantly. I guess it was a good one.
oh, is that like, did it take place immediately after it? I don't know why I thought that was like a.
I guess.
I guess it doesn't
really
matter.
say.
Yeah, it doesn't matter either way. It doesn't really make a difference.
Still,
but-
time is convoluted.
Still a bad guy.
Yeah, I thought he was our protagonist, and then that happened, and I was like, oh.
And then you're like, oh, he's definitely our protagonist.
It's like, am I supposed to root for this dude? And because he's got weird bug eyes the whole time, and he keeps calling everybody mommy. So I guess that makes him cool.
based.
But on the side hustle, we got Cynthia Rock.
I was like
Rothrock.
Rothrock.
That's kicking all
X2.
kinds of ass. It starts. There's like a kind of like a rip-off Warriors gang alley fight club going on. Just
Look like the tunnel snakes.
right on the side of the street where anyone can see. Yeah, they look like the tunnel snakes from Fallout. And so basically, Cynthia just fights for money. And that's kind of it. She has a sister in college that she's trying to support, and you're trying to you're thinking right now, how are these two stories going to interconnect with each other? So going back to the first story, the art house part of the movie.
Rewind it back.
So after that, rightfully so, his wife leaves him with a note, and he just starts just breaking apart the living room, which is
He's
pretty
like,
solid.
I asked for a boy toy with my Happy Meal.
This guy over animates everything.
Real
He's like
Citizen Kane moment.
He's like the Frankenstein of martial arts movies. He's just feels really stiff, I guess, but it's kind of weird.
Yeah.
But after that, he just, I guess something snaps, and he goes, sits on his stairs, and he's like, I need you, mommy. And then making his weird bug eyes and shit.
Well, it has a short flashback.
Oh yeah.
She left a watch with her letter.
Yeah, okay. And then he
It
has
has a music box.
He has the tender moment, and the scene is supposed to explain his bad childhood.
And it's like a 5-second scene. They thought that's all that was needed.
It was kind of funny because it shows this 12 or 13-year-old kid, and his mom is arguing with, I guess, just some dude she's dating. And he's
And they're walking around him with him in the middle.
He's right there. He's like, I'm not
They're
going to take care
circling
of
him like sharks.
you. Got to work. I'm not going to take care of your stupid fucking kid. I'm dating you, not him.
I'm not going to play second fiddle to your child.
And he's just sitting there like, what the hell? I can just stay at home myself. I'm 15. And then it
I'm
cuts
driving
back,
already.
and then it cuts back to him as if that's supposed to excuse the rape.
Yeah, he's supposed to be a
does.
sympathetic villain.
Which,
But
what
I
is the
think they were trying to
implication?
make it like Psycho.
Well, what is the implication there? That he was just abandoned?
I guess
he
and
just
wasn't loved enough.
That
But
he was abandoned and left him with serious mental scars that only Papa
How do you
Roach
just
could help.
abandon a child that's 12 years old and not go to jail?
by going to work and then coming back home.
Going to the cigarette store.
They needed something else to establish it. That was just a really weak moment to choose. If that was the low point in his life, he's had it pretty good.
Right? I was like, I don't know, this is pretty weak as far as Joker origins go.
And he's arguably worse than the Joker. The Joker
is,
didn't know kung fu.
Yeah, the killing joke. This ain't.
Yeah. But anyway, he gets an obsession with finding girls that look like Anna, his wife, and then he starts calling them Anna, and they're like, what the fuck are you talking about? And then he always runs into them with like their boyfriend that just knows kung fu.
Yeah,
and they get in
And
the
they
fights.
also know kung fu.
Well, yeah, of course. Like, I don't know. Like, maybe he picked up his actual wife Anna, and like got her to break up with an Asian guy, because he seems to have a thing for cucking Asian dudes in this movie. Because yeah, like every girl he picks out just happens to be with an Asian boyfriend.
They also all happen to be redheads with floral dresses.
Yeah, that's like his like, you know, type of woman that he's like seeking out, because they remind him of his wife, which they
He
explain.
sees like a lot of them.
No, and again, they all have Asian boyfriends who happen to know martial arts. It's like, okay, movie.
One dude's in like business casual and he's busting up Bruce Lee kicks.
Well, so right now you're probably thinking, man, this movie sounds absolutely horribly mean-spirited. Why do you guys enjoy it? Well, once we hit this part, it like never stops. Like every 5 minutes there's a fucking fight.
The plot is just a series of contrivances to get the
Yeah.
fight scenes going, which is kind of like every martial arts movie.
Yeah.
But
this just does it in such a like over the top stupid way that it's fantastic,
Well,
and we like it that much more.
Yeah.
the way you described it, because we were saying like they will find any reason to fight. Like there's a cop that's investigating all these, you know, serial murders and rapes, and he walks into like a dojo and he starts asking questions, and the instructor's like, this guy's asking too many questions. Get him, students. And then like 5 students attack this cop. It's like you said, it's like Pokemon logic. They fight. They're like, oh, we made eye contact. We got to spar. Like,
That's what I love
Cube
about
up, son.
That's what I love about B kung fu movies. They're all like this. Just everybody knows how to fight, and everyone knows everything about martial arts. Like the grand champion of the world is like Aaron Rodgers in these universes. Like everyone knows who they are.
no, yeah, they name him because yeah, like one of like the first dude that he just beats up and steals his GF early on in the movie. He like kicks him out of a parking lot, and like he falls like you know 20 feet or whatever and dies. And then they say like, oh my god, that's what's his name? And they're like, the world martial arts champion.
It's just
like
conventional wisdom.
yeah, like just everybody knows that. Like,
And real quick, just to get the rest of the plot out of the way, because the rest is pretty simple. So he ends up killing Cynthia Rothrock's sister, who looks like Anna, and that's how they get connected.
Yeah.
And then the rest of it's just her and the cop trying to stop him.
Yeah.
And just funny acting, oblivion dialogue.
Yeah, very
Fight
awkward
scenes,
blocking.
but-
should we talk about the acting?
Yeah, let's do it.
Because it's like
It's like Cleverbot level, kind of.
there are very few contractions, you know, and like we at one point like it reminded me very much of that scene in which Neil Breen movie is that, where he's like, I cannot believe you committed suicide.
Fateful Findings.
I cannot believe that you committed suicide. Why would you commit suicide? It's like that. It's only a little bit better than that. Like it's close.
Yeah, Harlan kept saying that it was like a step above Birdemic at any
Yeah.
given point.
Yeah, and it's also, and part of it is the
At least
acting.
it's audible.
Part of it is the acting. Part of it is the editing, because like it's always like shot reverse shot. Like very rarely, it's very seldom that the actors are actually like in a frame together at the same time exchanging lines. It's always like one line at a time.
Well, because the director knew they were gonna have to splice every sentence together.
Totally.
Like the best possible shot of each
And there's
one.
also a lot of like reaction shots where you could tell that they just told one extra to do like 5 takes, and then they just like used all of them
they're like-
throughout the fight.
Or like, give me
Yeah.
a gasp.
It'll
Okay,
be like
give me a
a-
scream. Give me.
Give me a yeah.
Okay, you're the hype man. You gotta be like, yeah, oh, yeah.
That's
and they're
another
just like
thing.
sprinkled throughout the fight.
Boy, are the fights hype.
The fights
They
are
are.
great. Like,
They are,
the
actually.
choreography is legitimately impressive
It really
for what
is.
it is. Like, what sucks is that we went and immediately like watched that one meat hook scene from the Raid 2. And that made this kind of look like shit in comparison, but the Raid 2 also has like the best fight choreography I've ever seen.
It's unfair to
Fucking
this
love
movie
the
that
Raid
we did
movies.
that.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. Before we get too far off the topic of the acting,
Yeah,
I also just want to say, of course, we put subtitles on for this because, you know, we just always do. And I just want to say that, like, the closed captioning just kept giving up because the actors kept mumbling their lines, and so like it'd be like, oh, but he and then it'd just say in parentheses mumbling. And like sometimes we could make out what they're saying, but like I just thought it was really funny that like this AI just kept giving up.
Yeah.
I was like,
I don't even know
don't
if it was AI. Like, I always, whenever I have to put subtitles on videos a lot, and sometimes if they're mumbling, I just kind of summarize what they're saying.
Yeah.
As long as it fits on the screen. But yeah, this one didn't give a shit. Sometimes they would have like mumbling in brackets, and then sometimes they just wouldn't have anything on the screen at all.
Well, it could have been an AI like YouTube like subtitle thing, because I don't think anyone was hired to do the captions for this movie.
I mean, they might have if there's a DVD for it.
This movie came out in 1993, and the version we watched streaming looked like it was from 1976.
It does.
Like,
yeah.
I thought. During the credits,
it's like 480p.
It's one of those movies where it's just music in the credits, just a black background with text. But there was so little people that worked on the movie that it lasted like a minute, so it didn't really matter. And it was like flickering and had the scan lines at the top. And I'm like, they ripped this from a fucking VHS, the last one they could find. But then after.
And there's also like one shot in particular that you pointed out where like they're in a hospital and the camera's like maybe like 5 feet away and there's a sign directly behind them on the wall and you can't read what it says. It's so blurry.
It's just a jumbled mess.
I kept thinking that it was out of focus, and it's like, no, it's probably like 480p. And then one thing I noticed also is that every shot that's not like a fight scene that is focusing on a character is so aggressively close up. But Wes brought up a good point that this was probably only ever like projected in 4:3. So in order to have it be 16:9 on a normal TV, they had to just zoom that in. So everything is very uncomfortably close. Like you never see someone's entire head in a shot. It's always cut off on the top or bottom.
Yeah, that's the one thing I hate about these streaming services. I wish they would just unalter them. Like,
just give me the black bars on the side, man.
We know it's old. I would rather see everything than it look bad, even worse than it already does.
They do that for TV shows already. If you watch OG Always Sunny on Hulu, it's got the black bars. It's just okay.
Yeah, just deal with it. It is what it is.
It is what it is.
That would
it's
also
fine.
fix the resolution problem because it wouldn't be zoomed in.
Come on, Disney Plus, please make The Simpsons look watchable. It's atrocious right now, and I want to throw up.
Yeah, come on, come at us, tweet at us, Disney.
I want to talk about Bear. Can we talk about Bear?
Oh yes, because I was actually just going to suggest we talk about Bear.
Let's talk about Bear.
Now we're just going through all the like bear.
Okay, sure. Bear.
We're just basically going through all the like Street Fighter opponents that they fight.
Well,
this is where like he has like a double dragon get up on.
Well, he's like they're doing like these underground fights, and they very clearly express the rules. They're like no knives, guns, bricks, anything.
Yeah, this is another Warriors gang fight club
and yet,
thing.
And yet he's allowed to wear like football padding for some reason. Like he's allowed to wear like armar and like
he
protective.
keeps making like
pads.
football. Yeah, he keeps making like football puns, and he's in like a 3-point lineman stance.
Yeah, he's like it's like a wrestling thing, like WWE, where they've got like themes and shit.
He's 100% a beat 'em up boss.
He's like, I'm putting you on injured reserve.
He looks like he's from fucking Final Fight.
That probably fits the Double Dragon theme more than Double Dragon does.
But of course, Cynthia Rothrock or Christy, I think her name was in the movie.
Yeah.
Just beat Bear's ass.
She kicks ass. She's easily the best part of this.
For sure.
Yeah.
Well, it's even better. She kicks ass in real life.
Yeah.
Did not know that.
She's like a fucking badass.
Makes me respect this movie a lot more.
Her goal was to be a martial arts champion for 5 years straight, undefeated, and she fucking did it.
And the most recent thing that we know about her is that she voiced Mama Cat in Cool Cat Saves the Kids.
Because I remember seeing it at the end. I'm like, wait, what the fuck? And I think I mentioned it to you guys, but you probably just had no idea who it was. And we brought it all back.
Yeah.
Undefeatable.
The weirdest thing to me about that is that like, okay, so she's Mama Cat in Cool Cat, and like, I don't know if you're aware, but like Derek Savage, creator of Cool Cat, also made a self-defense for women instructional video, and I haven't watched it, but I'd be willing to bet just about anything that it's like really poorly done and full of like bad advice and shit like that. Like, so it'd be really weird if you know Cynthia Rothrock was like aware of that and just didn't step in any way.
Definitely should have stepped in.
Yeah,
for sure.
If you've got her on speed dial, then you gotta consult her for like self-defense.
Yeah, I was looking into her a little bit. She has like 5 black belts, and she's considered like an 8th degree grandmaster.
God damn.
She like beats ass.
Okay, you can call her mommy.
Yeah. She should be mommy. Fuck Anna.
Yeah, she's fucking great. She was awesome in this.
Okay, but Bear. I want to talk about Bear. Okay. So she kicks Bear's ass, right? Yeah. And then like they're leaving, and Paul, the antagonist, shows up, and he's like scoping
out. His name was Paul.
Yeah, he's like scoping out. Yeah, it's such a like unassuming name for a rapist serial killer. He shows up, he's scoping out the joint, and he like sees Paul's girlfriend, and he's like, that's my new Anna. And so it like cuts and it shows them arriving at their trailer home, but then Paul is like there hiding behind a tree. How the fuck did he follow them home and beat them home?
And why was he there in the first place? It's like he somehow just stumbled upon where Christy was having her like fight.
It was
club
complete
fight,
coincidence, yeah.
And then saw her and then followed Bear home for some reason.
I just was like, how do you follow someone home and beat them where they're going? How does that work?
Oh yeah, and then after the bear fight, because this happened multiple times, he would fucking see someone, kill their fucking partner, and then kill them. But the third time, we come across another couple that's in front of like a Stevie B's, and then in like some kind of strip mall, and then he tosses the dude aside, and then the chick just starts wailing on him a little bit. It was like, oh shit, everyone can fight in this movie. Queen moment. No, that was pretty awesome. Like you don't really expect that.
But no,
He still
like
killed them both.
Literally everybody in this movie knows kung fu to some degree. Like,
anyone with a speaking line has thrown a punch or a roundhouse.
no, like
kick.
even
No,
even
they're doing spin kicks.
this sounds like a
Nonstop.
joke, listeners. Even the therapist's receptionist and the therapist both know martial arts for some fucking reason. But
This is like a Dragon Ball universe. just everybody knows kung fu.
Everybody has a cursory knowledge of fighting.
But like you were saying, they're outside
like
of
a
Stevie B's,
trained
and yeah,
skill.
she like just assaults this guy, like kills her boyfriend, and then dead legs the woman and like kidnaps her. And yeah, the weirdest thing about that is like they're literally outside of like a Stevie B's or some shit, and like in the reflection of like the glass wall behind them, you can see a car drive by. Like they're like in a parking lot full of people, and like just nobody does anything about this.
They're at like a CC's and the kids are looking out the window watching this like, what the fuck?
I guess it's a rough area of town.
Yeah, they're in Hoodstock.
It's like 10 a.m. and people are like, well, there's a fight club going on outside.
And then every time he always kidnaps them as well, and chains them up. On paper, it sounds horrible, but it's funny because it has the bass beat going, and then it always
You like
shows
the
him.
Seinfeld theme
And then
underneath.
it always cuts to them chained up, and then like the camera pulls out. Then it just shows him training next to them, like, "Yo, check out my katana." And he's like flexing and doing karate
Do you like my
moves.
Nichiren blade replica?
What movie poster would he have down there?
Roadhouse.
Definitely,
I think he's got a
Roadhouse.
Roadhouse poster.
100%.
I mean, he's close to the head villain crony in Roadhouse.
He's close to it,
They,
but
they have the same mullet.
You know, he's close to that. He's close to the villain of Roadhouse, but you know that he thinks he's the protagonist, Patrick Swayze.
Oh yeah.
That's how he views himself.
Oh, another like calling card that he has. He always pulls people's eyes out and keeps them in like a fish tank.
Yeah,
The first one was hype. He just like pushes his fingers into his eyes
and it's weird because
launches him off a
Slipknot.
parking
at
deck.
that point in the movie, it's not clear that that's like his thing. Like I thought he just did that in the heat of the moment, but like
It also never explains why it's his thing.
yeah, he just like he does it to the guy. And then you find out he did it to the woman too, and then like you see, it's like, oh, he just does this to every single person he comes into contact with. It's like, yeah, but they don't really explain like why he's got a
his
thing
hello.
for gouging people's eyes out with
Yeah,
his fingers.
You think like his, I don't know, to add to the psychological thing, that it should have been like a special move from like his boxing days or something, but I don't think eye stabbing is legal
I'm sure it's not.
and maybe in this world. Maybe we don't know.
Well, he doesn't play
Maybe
by
they're
the
at the
rules.
World
He's just that
Tournament.
hardcore.
Yeah.
I bet they were
Not
having a
hardcore.
debate as to whether or not
live hardcore.
that would be considered legal in the ring, and then they said, okay, we'll settle it with a fight, and then they fought, and then he just gouged his eyes out, and then I was like, well, there you go.
Oh yeah.
It's legal.
Simple.
The more you know.
Based on this movie's logic, that's how it would go.
I'm sad we didn't get an Undefeatable 2.
Oh,
Right?
didn't?
We should make it.
We could make it.
We could. You guys can star in it.
It'll be probably be
shoot it.
better. We'll play every character. There'll never be more than 2 people on screen.
Well, there weren't in this movie either.
True.
We just needed a selection of different wigs.
And I like how the cop is a total martial arts badass too.
We haven't talked about the cop at all.
Oh yeah, because
he's just kind of barely there. He's like a supporting character.
Well,
that's
that's
a couple
okay.
training scenes too. He knows how to use a bow staff.
He does.
Yeah, we get this sweet like bow staff montage, and he never does anything with it. He also dresses like Shenmue for half of this.
And he also, him and like his partner cop, and then like also Paul himself. Like, there's a lot of dudes in this movie who just look like versions of Bob Saget. Like,
That's like the aesthetic here.
yeah, like just like they all look like they could be very closely related to him.
It was 93, so everyone had the Saget hair.
I guess. Everywhere you look.
Everywhere.
Yeah. So she's just pretty much. Christy has teamed up with Bob Saget cop, right?
Saget cop.
Saget Cup.
I'd watch that show.
Well, at first he's like, no, you need to leave this life. You can't be in a fight club. And then he sees how much ass she kicks, and he's like, you know what? Yeah, go, queen.
Go off.
It's a female empowerment moment.
And so she's pretty much just bouncing from place to place, like beating people up who she thinks might have been involved.
Because he's like, don't beat people up.
Because this is a Pokemon game.
And then he's like, okay, go ahead, beat people up.
Yeah.
Well, you're pretty good at it.
No, like at one point she fights a dude because like so she goes to the morgue to identify her sister's body, and she sees that she has like claw marks on her neck, and she's like, "Oh, I know who did that. That's his signature move." And there's like a guy,
the gym leader.
There's like
area.
a guy who I guess is known around town for wearing gloves with like claws on them when he fights.
What a douchebag move.
Yeah.
And he trains on water barrels.
Yeah, she's like, "I'm gonna kick your ass for killing my sister," and he like hops up on an oil drum, and he's like, "Let's go."
He's like, why don't you come down here?
It's so absurd.
No, not only that, but I mean, he's the one who decided they should fight on oil drums, but he almost falls off himself.
Yeah.
He's like worse at it than she is.
He can't even accommodate for his own stage hazards.
What happens next?
What happens next?
I mean, they just kind of bounce
just
around and fight people for a while.
Fights until they're able to fight him.
Well, and until they
Yeah.
figure out they just kind of fight for a while, and then eventually they just kind of get the idea to talk to a psychiatrist, I think, and then like
They got the Grandmaster involved. It's like, there's only 3 people in America with this technique.
okay.
And then I guess they single him out.
And Paul's name is his like fighter name is Stingray.
Yeah, because he killed Steve Irwin.
Yeah.
That's the thing that makes him a bastard.
Yeah. That's the most motherfuckerly thing he does.
Okay, so they get the idea to talk to a psychiatrist and like kind of like piece together, like help figure out like why and who he's targeting, you know. And then they talk to the therapist of Paul's wife who left him earlier, and so she pieces it together. She's like, well, you know, I did have a client who said that her husband was really into rape and murder. I wonder if that has anything to do with it.
That's a coinky dink.
I'm sure it's nothing. And then what happens next? I can't remember.
He finally picks up his mail after going on his murder spree, and I guess his wife's psychiatrist, the one that suggested that she leave him, he found her address because of that. I guess the note that he left her was like, yeah, my psychiatrist said I should leave you, so I'm fucking leaving you. Bad move.
Yeah.
And then
Sold her out.
Rookie mistake.
he tracks her
snitching
down
like that.
and kidnaps her, and then the psychiatrist pulls a fast one on him. She starts acting like mommy.
Did anyone not see that coming?
I didn't have any expectations, so I didn't see it coming. But
Yeah.
the second that happened, I was like, "Oh, okay, yeah."
It's smart.
You reincorporate different elements of the plot to
Because
subvert
like
my
he's about to like kill her, and
expectations.
he's like, "Stop it! Clean your room." And he's like, "Mommy, I'm sorry."
You're grounded.
I saw it coming.
Where's that progress report?
I saw it coming as soon as they mentioned that she specifically was like a specialist in abnormal psychology, and I was like, oh, she's gonna like do some like mind fuck shit on him. I was like, yeah,
She's gonna
mind freak.
Jedi
Like,
mind trick him.
this is Pokemon. He's a fighting type. She's a psychic. Like,
Yeah, she used Confuse Ray on him.
yeah.
Clutch
But
move.
so he has like his like torture / rape / murder layer.
/ training dojo.
Oh, one thing I do want to talk about. It's really funny. Like
Sigma grind set
but
arena.
a few murders before that, like he's got like his manager at the boxing ring who he's like buddies with, I guess. And he's like, he was supposed to be there for the fight on Friday, and so he like goes to his like, rape cave that they mentioned is a warehouse. So I don't know why he knew to go there. But he goes there when Paul's not there and like scopes out the joint, and he finds like eyeballs in a fish tank, and he's like, huh.
That's weird.
That's weird. And then he looks over and he sees just like a girl's leg sticking out of a dumpster, and he's like, are you okay?
I don't think he ever actually says that. I think that's
doesn't.
something that we said.
No, he doesn't actually say that, but like he is kind of like, huh.
I mean, like, the look on his face, like, I wonder.
No, yeah. And then he walks up and then he
How
opens
awkward.
the lid and he's like, "What the hell?"
Then he says, "Are you okay?"
Yeah.
I don't know, but yeah, the police are just finding bodies all over town because I guess he doesn't really care if he buries them or not.
Yeah, he
so,
puts them in like porta potties and shit.
yeah.
Yeah, I will say I think it's kind of ridiculous how long this guy goes without getting caught.
Well, I
Yeah.
mean, what's the end movie time here? Isn't it just like a few days?
Yeah, I was
Maybe like a
confused
week?
about that too.
About
Yeah.
a week, maybe.
Like a week at most, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, so Paul pieces together, right, that the therapist told Anna to leave.
Well, then she like Jedi mind tricks him into leaving. Like, we don't have any food in this fridge in your dojo. I need to go get groceries.
Well, not before. Before he kidnaps her, she like steps outside her office and her receptionist is just dead.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like,
yeah.
how the fuck did he murder your receptionist without you noticing?
She's just taking a nap.
Well, he's
Just
fucking
right outside the
dude.
door.
He's like a
Oh, and
ninja.
also she blinks. She's like supposed to be lying there dead on the desk, and she totally blinks. You can like see her eyes move.
I didn't notice that. I'm going to go back and watch
It was
that.
pretty funny.
I noticed it when you pointed it out, and I was like, "Oh, that's funny."
But yeah, back to the lair using the reverse mommy shadow technique.
Yeah.
She convinces him to unchain her, and then she's like,
Mommy
I gotta
breathing.
get groceries, bye. And he's like, no, you stay here. And he chains her back up.
Yeah.
And then he's like, I'll get the groceries. And she's like, God damn it, he tricked her. And then when he
I raised
leaves,
a good boy.
her purse is still next to her, so she manages to somehow like.
Well, she
She gets a call from
she just
Christy.
conveniently gets a phone call after he's left.
And then she perfectly uses her high heel to just whoosh.
Dude, I could
and then
not
answer
do
the
that.
phone.
I could not do that.
And also, must be doing pretty good. A cell phone that small in '93.
Yeah.
They used to be like World War
not-
II backpacks.
She had to dial her car phone.
Yeah, you know, if she's a therapist, she must be charging like $1,000 an hour to be able to afford a cell phone that small in 1993.
So yeah, therapists aren't making like that kind of money usually.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Just always working, man. She's got that grind set.
she's a Sigma male.
But yeah, pretty much that just leads to them finding the warehouse and leading to the boss fight, right?
Well, and when he comes back, so yeah, she gets the phone call from Christy, and so she's like, "I'm at the warehouse at 10th and 18th. Come, bring help." And of course, Christy doesn't bring help, but she fucking gets there before Paul gets back, and then she chains herself up, facing the other way, so that he gets home and he's like, "Mommy," and then she like flips over and kicks him. It's like, why'd you fucking chain yourself up?
Literally, though, he's like, "Mommy," and then she turns around and kicks him in the stomach. It's great.
This movie was ahead of its time.
Then they have like a 10-minute Matrix Revolutions fight.
And you know, something I noticed, like, this wasn't present earlier in the movie, but towards the end of the movie, they start using slow motion a lot. And the weird thing about it is, like, they're slow motion punches with like normal sound effects, you know? So it'll be like,
Yeah, then still keep
it's
going
like
a little
really,
bit.
yeah,
Owen's making a motion.
yeah. I was doing a
Slow
punch
motion.
Yeah,
I noticed that a lot of the ADRing totally did not match up with the like the punches or the dialogue. But I was just kind of along for the ride, and I was like, you know what, that makes it more charming.
Everything
Yeah.
about it totally fine.
It doesn't matter that punch sound effect was half a second off from the actual punch. I roll with it
Oh
because
no, I hope
this
that
movie is undefeatable.
I hope I'm not giving the impression that I didn't like this movie. I had a blast with this. I loved it.
That
Yeah,
was
we were
solid.
we were cheering like apes.
Oh no, we stood up and clapped when the movie was over. We didn't talk about our sweet sword skills. What do you call those things? Like the
Oh, like
the hook
they're
sword
like the hook
things.
blades. I don't know.
what
It's
the
what
fuck they
Cabal
call.
uses in Mortal Kombat. I don't know
Yeah.
what the fuck they're called.
And yeah, like they established earlier that she's really good with those, and he just happens to have one in his rape cave, where he also keeps his katana and other such things, and also a loaded
nunchaku.
gun.
His
He has a
armory.
loaded gun just out on the table, and like it doesn't seem like it's hidden at all. I guess she just didn't notice it because he picks it
They're
up
too
later.
hardcore for that shit. They got to give each other like a warrior's death.
We just have to talk about the ending kill because they're fighting him, and then Cindy Rothrock comes in. She has a broken arm. Her and the cops start tag teaming Paul, and then at the very end, we see
yeah,
like
they
a
wreck his
crane
shit.
hook.
It's a
thing.
pretty sweet combo. It's like a Iron Man versus Captain America and Bucky
Yeah.
in Civil War.
It's
They just
really
kept spamming the team attacks.
It's really good, and all of a sudden they're in the middle of the warehouse, and you see like a crane with like a grappling hook attachment on it. You're like, Okay,
You
I
just
know.
Yeah, boy, I
this is
know
about
what's
to be
going
used.
on.
You just know.
And Cynthia Rothrock fucking like basically hooks his eye into this and turns it on so it like lifts him up by his eye hole to the top of the warehouse, and then he starts zooming through the warehouse like on a conveyor belt.
And
we
we
were
cheered.
screaming like BTS
We
fans.
fucking cheered. It was amazing.
And what did she say, Harlan?
She said, "We'll keep an eye out for you."
Keep an eye out,
or something like that. And then they had the double dip on their one-liner because they had to have both of the protagonists say it.
And then we flung our shit all over the room and like excitement.
With how tongue-in-cheek this movie is as a whole, it wasn't filled with one-liners. So when they did that for the end, you're just like, yeah,
boy.
It's more satisfying when it's at the end.
They had
Shit.
restraint. Yeah.
Yeah, if there's one thing this movie does well, it's restraint.
But yeah, then they show I guess they visit her sister's grave, and she's with like the tunnel snakes, and the cop's like, I enrolled all 4 of you into college.
What's with that?
I don't understand that plot
Well, like,
point.
yeah, so
And then the
they
credits
show
roll.
earlier. They show earlier that she's got like a little posse, and they're kind of like 3 stooges among each other, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess that's like her friend's subplot is that like they're underachievers, I guess. And then yeah, at the end of the movie, they're like they're like, what are you gonna do now? And she's like, I'm giving up my street fight lifestyle. And she like leaves her chains and shit on her sister's tombstone. And then they're like, and then her friends are like, what are we gonna do? And she's like, actually, I already enrolled you in college. And then the cop's also like, well, I already enrolled you in college too. And like, since when can you just fucking do that? Just enroll a person in college,
I don't know.
like without like their cooperation.
Enroll another grown adult into college.
How do you like?
Doesn't even know what major they want.
Yeah, are they just on the hook for that now? Like financially? Like
enjoy
are
your
they getting
student debt?
Are they getting like FAFSA or something?
He's a cop in '93. He doesn't make shit.
That's it. Well, since this is '93, you're probably able to like afford a college degree off of a part-time like pizza delivery driver.
He probably
salary.
also trusts her more now. He's like, yeah, just fight every couple weeks. You can pay for it.
But also, the reason that I stood up and cheered is because they're like, "Oh, right, we're all enrolled in college," and then they all have a group high five, and it freezes, and then the credits roll. They say, "Yeah," and they high five.
Real Power Rangers moment.
It was
a
really
good
like,
way to end it.
yeah, it was weirdly uncharacteristically cheesy, like because this movie's cheesy, but not in that way, you know?
Yeah.
It's not wholesome cheesy most of the time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Then it ended with that wholesome cheese and brought it all together.
good thing, great thing,
All
I
of
mean,
it?
Yeah, bad.
I mean,
thing.
obviously,
Choreography.
the fight choreography
Yeah,
is the best part.
I'll say. I think another unironically good thing. I thought Cynthia Rothrock gave a very commendable performance when she like goes to identify her sister's body.
I agree. That
She
was
was like-
pretty well done.
Yeah, like she's like screaming and crying. I was like, huh. I did not expect you to go that hard for that, but yeah, I thought it was a commendable.
You didn't need to go that hard to paint for this movie.
Yeah, that nobody fucking has heard
You
of.
had to dig deep in the like emotional depths.
And I guess that's in essence what makes it so good is the choreography too, because this movie is fucking garbage in between the fights,
Yeah.
but it's still funny and everything.
It's
But
just
the
a
fights
framework
are
for
so
the fights.
fucking good that it's like, oh, you're just hyped the whole time.
Yeah.
And then the sassy bass, another good thing. Just
And
throughout the whole thing.
I want to stress it's like constant almost throughout the movie. Just
Almost the whole
boom,
thing.
boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, it's like
Ding.
Twin Peaks with this fucking music. It's just like the same thing throughout the whole movie.
Yeah, no, yeah. They only had like 3 original songs and they just like looped them throughout.
The Great
you know what?
Escape type beat.
We're fine with it because it was all like jazz bass improv.
Yeah.
So nothing ever really repeated that much, at least what I could tell.
Yeah.
What'd you guys give it?
I can give this an 8.
For pure enjoyability, I'm going to give it an 8 too.
Same.
I enjoyed this quite a lot. Like I want to go home and watch this with my wife like as soon as possible.
I want this on DVD. I can't believe I only watched it the one time. Like that should be like a yearly
That's
event.
really surprising to me. Like this is like very much like on par with Roadhouse for me. Like
Yeah.
I want to watch this with the boys like regularly.
Yeah. I just watched so much garbage like this. I guess it just kind of fell into the wayside. But
It's just one of the rest. Yeah, I gotta show
this was awesome.
my girlfriend and roommate this. They're gonna love it.
Yeah. Trivia?
Trivia. Act trivia.
I'm excited to read this to you guys because there's only a whopping 3 pieces of trivia listed on the IMDb. But thankfully, all 3 are actually interesting. So we got a really high batting average for this movie.
Hell yeah, that's awesome.
So,
because usually you have like 100, but only 2 of them are good.
yeah, I gotta scour it most of the time. Okay, here we go. Cynthia Rothrock claimed that some of her co-stars had such difficulty remembering their lines while filming that portions of the dialogue were written down and taped to her forehead for them to read.
Wow, they didn't give a fuck.
Really brought in their A-listers.
Yeah.
And especially for this dialogue.
I know, yeah. The actress playing the sister of Cynthia Rothrock's character was reportedly unpaid and left filming before the completion of the dramatic scene where Rothrock weeps over her body. Rothrock had to pretend that she was looking at the actress while actually observing director Godfrey Ho's hand.
So it makes it even better. She wasn't even looking at her sister.
That's a good point.
Just some dude's hand.
She really gave it her all.
It's a grind set.
Hey, not just some dude, okay? Director Godfrey Ho.
Sorry.
Yeah. Show some respect when you say the man's name, okay? Because this is a great fucking movie.
He made art.
All right, so lastly, John Miller and Don Neum, those are the actors who played Paul and the cop, okay, underwent considerable bodybuilding to prepare for their roles.
Yeah, no kidding.
The oft-derided quality of their showdown is partially attributed to both performers actively flexing in every shot with their shirts off, making their movements noticeably stiff.
Hell yeah.
You gotta look cool at all times.
And you know what?
They
Mission
did.
accomplished.
Oh, yeah.
did.
I have a new goal in mind.
So basically, fucking
Hashtag body goals.
go home, find Undefeatable. It's on IMDb TV for free with
like
a million
goddamn ton
This-
of ads.
This might be the first time we watch something on IMDb TV. We just have to rant about this for just a second because it is literally like cable. This is the only streaming service I've seen that doesn't have an ad counter, like how many there are, and it doesn't have a timer either.
Yeah, so you're just in it.
And there's like 5 or 6 at a time, and it happens every 10 minutes. But you know what? This movie's fucking worth it.
Oh, yeah.
Watch it. Look it up.
Yeah.
It's going to be great.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going to top this. What potentially can top this? Justin?
So, next week, we're watching 2005's Alone in the Dark by Uwe Boll,
Yes! Yes!
which has a whopping 1% on Rotten Tomatoes.
That movie is so fucking bad.
Christian Slater.
I saw Christian Slater.
It's got Christian Slater.
Because I actually haven't seen that one either.
Hell yeah. Well, that's
But I've
exciting.
I've got a Reddit post saved that I can plug in for bad movies.
Is that the one, this the director who did Blood Rain? Or was that the one that...
Yeah,
okay.
he's the one that does all the really bad video game movies like Farscape, House of the Dead. Or not Farscape, Far Cry. Shit like that.
I knew that Alone in the Dark was like one of the really horrible ones.
Which is also a
and
video
I just
game.
saw it on a list, so.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, that's going to be great. I'll watch any Uwe Boll movie.
Christian
But
Slater.
yeah, I guess we'll see you next time with
Christian Slater. We'll see you next time for Alone in the Dark and Christian Slater. Goodbye, Mommy. Christian Slater.
Hold on. You dig on multiverses?
Oh, no, not the beast! Not the beast! Ah!
That's it. What, we some kind of...
B-roll boys.
Everywhere you look.
Everywhere.
Somebody.
I don't even.
That's gonna clip.
I hope
No.
it does.
Okay, so
We can cut that part out.